played a part in the conviction of Robert Napper. It all happened very quickly for me. Suddenly I was seeing and hearing about things that I'd never imagined. If I had imagined them, to be honest, I'd want to be on the other side of the desk and getting some treatment. The teapot was on the table between them, sitting on its own little ceramic stand. Smith lifted off the cosy, tipped a little milk into his cup from a tiny white jug, and raised an eyebrow at her. Jo shook her head, watching him refill his own cup with the pale amber liquid. She continued, "So, anyway, I could tough it out. I never had to walk away from a crime scene, and I had a couple of horrors. Have you seen that? Big blokes who just had to walk away from it, literally?" "Yes, and if they've got any sense, they never go back. It's not for everyone, and there's no shame in admitting that." He was leaving it to her, letting her go at her own pace, and say as much or as little as she wanted, not probing to find out why she had, in the end, turned away. So then you felt in control, not threatened, which made you want to tell him anyway, because you have a deep need to share these things, if only you can find the right person. And in this business, there aren't many of them. She said, "It's odd, but for me it wasn't the crime scene stuff. I could detach myself when it was actually in front of me. It was the aftermath, especially the photographs. Sitting at a desk, your desk, staring at them, poring over them for something that might lead to a conviction 18 months later. Certain photographs." "You can still see them?" "Yes." "It's all right. I don't need the details." But she did. That was the worst thing. She needed the details from him, and she wished this conversation had never begun. After a pause, she said, "I went to a lecture once by Paul Britton. Have you heard of him?" "Yes, I know who he is." "He talked about it. I can't remember the exact words, but he said that it changes who you are every time you encounter the worst things that people can do. You have to be aware of that in yourself. You have to decide at some point how much you're prepared to take. And in one of his books he wrote that the very nature of the work erodes you." Smith considered it before saying, "Good choice of word." I'd go home, go to bed, and everything had been normal. But then, whether or not I'd closed my eyes, I'd see the photographs again, just certain ones, over and over. I'd think, is that what he saw? How long did he spend staring at his handiwork? Did he even arrange things like that because he wanted us to take the photographs? Are we his audience? Are we a part of it? And then if you do happen to fall asleep, you'll probably have nightmares about it. She looked at him and thought, he always seems calm, placid even, though I've never seen him at work, managing a team of detectives. But I'll bet he isn't very different even then. He doesn't look like a man who has bad dreams. It doesn't always show, though, not on the outside. The erosion can take place unseen. It can hollow you out from the inside. Smith said, "There are a few like that, the ones for whom it's a game, and the pawns they sacrifice just happen to be real people. Those are the ones they call primary psychopaths, aren't they, miss?" It was easy to see him as the epitome of the pragmatic policeman, and he wasn't above mocking her academic background, as those officers invariably do, though from him it was always good-natured and friendly. But she knew now that he was more than that. She knew about the bright grammar school boy, meant for university until family circumstances intervened. She knew a little about his time in the army, the dangerous undercover work in Belfast. She knew that he had himself been offered a post in an elite squad in the Met until a case back on his own turf demanded his return. The Andretti case, the ice cream killer, the very one that